So let's dive into all this stuff about future-proofing your career in the age of AI.
Yeah.
We've got some pretty big sources here.
Yeah.
World Economic Forum, Harvard Business Review, Stanford University, even a book by career expert Yusuf Wilson.
Nice.
You're clearly thinking ahead, and that's awesome.
It is.
I mean, the world of work is changing so fast these days.
It really is.
Faster than ever.
Reports are even suggesting that almost half of workers'
Wow.
core skills are going to be disrupted in the next 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Which is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But that's why we're doing this deep dive, right?
Exactly.
It's all about equipping you with the tools to survive and thrive.
Yeah.
Yusuf's book actually really emphasizes taking action today. And that's what we're here to help you do.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's all about tomorrow's skills, today's action.
Yeah.
So let's break down those 10 key areas that you need to focus on.
Okay.
Become the ultimate future-proof professional.
Sounds good to me. Right. So the first area we'll tackle is lifelong learning and upskilling.
Okay.
These reports are pretty clear about one thing.
What's that?
Continuous learning is no longer optional.
Right.
It's essential.
Totally.
The pace of change is so rapid that if you're not constantly learning and adapting, you risk falling behind.
So we're ditching that know-it-all attitude, embracing the learn-it-all mindset.
Precisely.
Okay.
And it's not just about breadth.
Okay.
It's also about depth. Think of T-shaped skills.
Okay.
Deep expertise in your core area.
Right.
But also broad knowledge in related fields.
Okay. So like a specialty, but then also some general knowledge around that.
Exactly. That's what makes you truly versatile.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
The World Economic Forum actually predicts that 6 out of 10 workers will need reskilling by 2027.
That's a lot of people.
It's a huge number.
It is.
It's kind of scary, actually.
It is. And that's why it's so important to take ownership of your professional development. Don't wait for your company to offer training. You need to be proactive.
Right.
And seek out opportunities to learn new skills.
Totally.
Whether it's through online courses, workshops, or even mentorship programs.
I'm curious, what kind of specific skills are we talking about here?
It really depends on your field and your interests.
Of course.
But some areas that are consistently in high demand include data analytics, AI and machine learning, digital marketing, and cloud computing.
Gotcha.
We also can't forget about prompt engineering.
Oh, prompt engineering.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, it's becoming increasingly important for anyone who wants to work effectively with AI.
Okay.
It's essentially about learning how to craft effective prompts to get the best results from AI tools.
So like speaking AI's language.
Exactly. Think of it as the art of speaking AI's language.
Makes sense.
Yusuf actually dedicates a whole chapter to it in his book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like learning how to communicate effectively with a new colleague.
Yes.
But this colleague happens to be a super intelligent machine.
Exactly. And the better you are at communicating with AI, the more effectively you'll be able to leverage its power to enhance your work.
So it's all about embracing that lifelong rookie attitude.
Absolutely.
Constantly seeking new knowledge and skills to stay ahead.
And that leads us perfectly into our next area of focus.
Okay.
Cultivating uniquely human skills.
Ooh.
This is where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
Because in an AI-driven world,
yeah,
it's our human skills that become even more valuable.
Interesting.
So think creativity, empathy,
okay,
communication, leadership, cultural intelligence,
uh-huh,
things that robots just can't replicate.
It's like a paradox, isn't it?
It is.
The more technology advances, the more important our human qualities become.
It's true. The World Economic Forum actually listed resilience,
Okay.
flexibility, curiosity, and lifelong learning as some of the top skills for 2023. And these are all fundamentally human traits.
So while AI might be great at analyzing data and automating tasks,
Yeah.
it can't replace the human touch.
Right.
The ability to connect with others on an emotional level.
Exactly.
Understand nuance and context.
Yes.
And to think creatively and critically.
Exactly. Let's take a closer look at some of these uniquely human skills.
Okay.
Starting with emotional intelligence, or EQ.
Okay.
EQ.
Mm-hmm.
AI might be able to process information
Okay.
and even mimic human emotions.
Uh-huh.
But it can't truly understand or empathize with people the way we can.
So EQ is all about reading the room,
Yeah.
building relationships,
Yeah.
leading with empathy, and managing change effectively.
Exactly. High EQ is absolutely crucial in an AI-driven world.
Okay.
Because it allows us to navigate the human aspects of change.
Gotcha.
Build strong teams.
Yeah.
And lead with compassion and understanding.
And what about creativity and innovation?
Oh, that's a good one.
How does that play into this whole future-proofing thing?
Well, AI is fantastic at remixing the past.
Yeah, okay.
Analyzing data and generating new variations based on existing patterns.
Right.
But true innovation often comes from a spark of human creativity.
Right.
That ability to imagine something entirely new.
Yeah.
Something that's never been seen before.
That's where the aha moments happen.
Yes.
The kind of breakthroughs that AI can't replicate.
Exactly. So it's important to cultivate your creative muscles.
Okay.
By embracing brainstorming, seeking out diverse perspectives, and allowing yourself time for white space thinking.
White space thinking?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's about giving yourself space to think freely without constraints or distractions.
Oh, okay.
That's often where those truly innovative ideas emerge.
It's like giving your brain permission to wander.
Yes.
Explore new possibilities.
Precisely. And speaking of connecting with others,
yeah,
collaboration and networking skills are also becoming increasingly important.
Especially in a world where remote work and virtual teams are becoming the norm.
Exactly. Strong relationships are more important than ever.
Right.
Because they help us build trust, navigate complexity, and work effectively across different locations and time zones.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just about collecting context.
Oh.
It's about building genuine relationships, being helpful and supportive,
Yeah.
and contributing to a sense of community.
Absolutely. And that brings us to our final uniquely human skill for this section.
Okay.
Which is adaptability and resilience.
This one feels especially relevant.
It is.
In a world where change is constant and disruption is the new normal.
Being able to embrace change, learn from setbacks, and bounce back stronger.
Right.
That's absolutely essential for navigating the future of work.
AI might be able to process information quickly and adapt to new data.
Right.
But it doesn't have the grit and determination that humans possess.
And that leads us perfectly into our next area of focus.
Okay.
Adaptability and innovation, which we'll dive into after a quick break. Okay, so let's jump back into those 10 key areas for future-proofing your career.
Okay.
We left off talking about adaptability and innovation.
Right.
In this world where everything is changing so fast.
Yeah, McKinsey actually predicts that millions of workers will need to transition to entirely new occupations by 2030.
Yeah, that's a pretty stark reminder that we can't just sit back and relax. We need to be ready to change.
Right. So instead of looking at that as like a scary thing, let's look at it as an opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Exactly. Mastering career reinvention. Okay. Being able to pivot and reposition yourself whenever you need to.
Yeah.
That's a valuable skill.
So how do we cultivate that adaptability and drive innovation in our careers?
Well, the first step is to adopt a growth mindset.
Okay.
That means viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, not as threats.
Gotcha.
It's about believing that your abilities aren't fixed. You can always learn and improve.
So that learn-it-all mindset
we
talk about.
Next, you need to embrace the idea of mastering career reinvention.
Okay.
Be willing to change roles, industries, even learn entirely new technologies if necessary.
So don't limit yourself by thinking, I'm just a project manager or whatever.
Right. Think bigger, think broader. Think of yourself as a versatile portfolio of skills that can be applied in different contexts.
Okay.
And to navigate those different contexts, we need to practice mental agility and grit.
Because change can be stressful,
It can.
even scary.
Yeah.
Building that resilience is essential.
It is. Develop habits that support your mental agility and your grit.
How do we do?
Things like mindfulness or meditation can help you stay calm under pressure.
Okay.
Learn from setbacks and maintain a positive attitude, even when things are tough.
Yeah, that mental toughness is definitely a human advantage.
It is.
And while we're on the topic of kind of pushing ourselves, I think the next area innovates in your role really speaks to that.
Don't just settle for doing things the way they've always been done.
Right.
Always be on the lookout for ways to improve processes. Make things more efficient, add value to your team or company, and guess what? You can even use AI to help you do that.
Wait. AI to help you innovate?
Yeah.
Didn't we just talk about how AI can't really be creative?
Right. AI can't replace human creativity.
Okay.
But it can be a powerful partner.
Partner.
Yeah. Think of tools like ChatGPT.
Okay.
And you can use that to generate ideas, analyze data, even get feedback on your own innovative concepts.
So it's not about AI taking over. It's about strategically using AI to enhance our own innovative capabilities.
Exactly.
I like it.
And that strategic thinking leads perfectly into our next key area.
Okay.
Strategic thinking and leadership.
In a world that's increasingly complex and fast-paced, those skills are more important than ever.
Companies across all industries are realizing that they need leaders who can see the big picture, make good decisions under pressure, and inspire their teams to achieve ambitious goals.
So how do we develop that strategic thinking and leadership abilities?
Right.
It feels like one of those things that people are just born with.
Well, while some people might have a natural inclination towards leadership, these skills can absolutely be developed.
Okay, good.
It starts with honing your analytical and strategic thinking skills.
Right.
Be able to break down complex problems, interpret data, and make sound decisions.
Are there certain activities that can help us build these skills?
Absolutely. Things like root cause analysis.
Okay.
Or considering the second and third order consequences of a decision.
So thinking beyond the immediate impact.
Exactly. It's like playing chess, always thinking a few moves ahead.
I like that.
And while you're thinking ahead,
Yeah.
make sure you're also embracing big picture learning.
Okay.
Don't just focus on your immediate job or task.
Right.
Expand your horizons and understand how global trends and emerging technologies are impacting your industry as a whole.
So read industry reports, attend webinars, even connect with people outside of your usual circle?
Yes. All of that can help you see the bigger picture. And speaking of seeing the bigger picture, it's important to develop leadership skills at every level.
So you don't have to have like a VP title.
No, you don't have to have a fancy title to be a leader.
To be a leader, right?
Exactly. Start by taking initiative in your current role.
Okay.
Mentoring colleagues, refining your communication skills, being a positive and supportive presence on your team.
Those everyday actions can make a difference.
They can. And as you develop your leadership skills, don't forget about decision-making and ethics.
Especially when it comes to using AI.
Absolutely.
We have to be using this technology responsibly.
AI can provide data and insights.
Right.
But ultimately, humans are the ones making the judgment calls.
Right.
So develop your decision-making skills by learning from past experiences.
Okay.
Both your own and others. And always consider the ethical implications of your decisions, especially when AI is involved.
It's about being thoughtful and responsible and not just blindly following what the algorithm is telling you to do.
Right. And that thoughtful approach can also be applied to building your personal brand.
Okay, let's talk about personal branding and networking.
Yeah.
It feels like this has become increasingly important in a world where competition for jobs is fierce.
It has. In an AI-driven world, it's more important than ever to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
And build a strong professional network.
So how do we elevate our personal branding and networking?
Well, it starts with developing and showcasing recognized expertise.
Okay.
What are you known for? What unique value do you bring to the table?
So it's about identifying your strengths and passions, and then finding ways to share those with the world.
Exactly. Share your insights on LinkedIn, write articles, speak at events.
Even virtual ones.
Even virtual ones. Position yourself as a thought leader in your field.
And make sure you polish your online presence.
Your LinkedIn profile and your website are your digital first impressions.
Right?
Make sure they reflect your future-ready brand.
Gotcha.
And highlight your most valuable skills.
Okay.
Especially those related to AI and emerging technologies.
It's like your digital resume, but even more dynamic and engaging.
Right. And don't forget about networking strategically and generously.
Okay.
Use LinkedIn professional communities, even good old-fashioned email, to build relationships with people in your field.
But don't just focus on taking... Be generous with your time and your knowledge.
Absolutely. Networking is a two-way street.
Okay.
And finally, remember to build your personal brand internally as well.
So it's not just about external connections. It's also about building a strong reputation within your current organization.
Exactly. Participate in cross-department projects, volunteer for new initiatives, let your managers know about your upskilling efforts.
Right. It's about being proactive and showing initiative.
Exactly.
Rather than waiting for opportunities to come to you.
Precisely. And that proactive mindset is essential for navigating the ever-evolving landscape of digital literacy. Which brings us to our next key area.
Let's talk about digital literacy and AI fluency.
Right.
It feels like this has become the new baseline.
It has.
for success in almost every field.
Digital literacy has evolved.
Right.
It's no longer enough to just be able to use technology.
Yeah.
You need to be fluent in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes understanding AI
Okay.
and how it's impacting your industry.
The sources we've looked at really emphasize that this is no longer optional.
It's not.
This is a core competency
It is.
for the future workforce.
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean to be AI fluent?
Right.
Does everyone need to become like a programmer?
Not necessarily. It's about understanding the basic principles of AI,
Okay.
machine learning, and data analytics.
So you don't need to be coding.
No, you don't need to be coding, but you do need to be able to discuss AI intelligently
Okay.
and understand how it can be applied in your work.
So where do we start?
Okay.
What are some practical steps?
Well, it starts with building AI fluency. Get comfortable discussing AI,
Yeah.
understanding the key concepts and vocabulary,
Uh-huh.
being able to articulate how AI is impacting your industry.
Okay.
There are tons of foundational courses available
Oh, cool.
on AI basics, machine learning, data analytics.
Great.
You don't need to become an expert, but you do need a solid understanding of the fundamentals.
That makes sense. So we learn the basics, and then what?
Then you start leveraging the practical AI tools that are out there.
Okay.
There are tools for everything. Communication design, even predictive analytics built into platforms you might already be using.
So like, for example?
Let's say you're in marketing.
Okay.
AI can analyze customer trends instantly,
Oh, wow.
giving you insights that would take you hours to gather manually.
That's amazing.
And that frees up your time for strategic planning,
Yeah.
the kind of thinking that AI can't do.
Right.
So learn by doing, find the tools that are relevant to your work,
Okay.
and experiment. And while you're doing that, you'll naturally start strengthening your critical digital literacy skills.
What does that mean?
Think about the rise of AI-generated content.
Okay.
There's a lot of information out there,
Mhm.
but how do you know what's reliable?
Right.
Critical digital literacy is about fact-checking,
Uh-huh.
questioning assumptions,
Yeah.
verifying your sources.
Right.
Those skills are more important than ever in a world where information is abundant, but not always accurate.
It's like being a digital detective.
Exactly. You can't just take everything at face value.
Okay.
And the final piece of digital fluency is modeling digital leadership.
What does that look like in practice?
Be an advocate for digital literacy in your workplace.
Okay.
Share your AI successes. Suggest tech improvements. Help your colleagues get up to speed.
So be the bridge between the tech and the rest of the team.
Exactly.
Organizations need people who can guide them through digital transformation.
They do. That's a valuable and future-proof skill set.
Speaking of future-proof, ethical considerations feel especially relevant
They do.
in the age of AI.
Absolutely. This one is huge
Yeah.
as AI becomes more powerful.
Right.
It's not just about knowing how to use it.
Uh-huh.
It's about using it responsibly.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
And the decisions we make now about AI will have a ripple effect for years to come.
You're absolutely right. The sources we've looked at highlight that ethical AI practices are becoming increasingly critical for organizations and individuals alike.
So where do we even begin with this ethical awareness?
Right.
Around AI, it feels like a really complex topic.
It can be. But the first step is to understand AI ethics.
Okay.
What are the key principles?
Yeah.
Fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy.
Okay.
These are all crucial considerations when it comes to developing and using AI responsibly.
Makes sense.
There are frameworks and guidelines out there
Oh, good.
from organizations like UNESCO and the OECD
Okay.
that can help you get a better understanding of the ethical landscape.
So we do our homework.
Yeah.
Learn the ethical landscape, and then what?
Then you start to champion responsible tech use in your workplace.
Okay.
Be an advocate for ethical practices.
How do we do that?
Suggest guidelines, maybe even best practices for using AI responsibly.
For example.
Think about data usage.
Okay.
How is your organization using data?
Yeah.
Is it being transparent?
Uh-huh.
Is there bias in the algorithms?
Right.
These are conversations we need to be having at every level.
It's about making sure AI is used to benefit people, not exploit them.
Exactly. And it's about being transparent and explainable in your own work.
What does that mean?
It means that if you're using AI to make decisions,
Uh-huh.
be clear about how those decisions were reached.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're using AI to generate forecasts,
Yeah.
explain the limitations of those forecasts.
So don't hide behind the AI, own the decisions, and be transparent about the process.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And finally, remember that ethical considerations are constantly evolving. Make continuous ethics learning a part of your professional development.
So follow thought leaders. attend webinars, participate in forums, stay engaged in the conversation.
Right. Ethical awareness is not a one-time box to check. Yeah. It's an ongoing journey.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit.
Okay.
Talk about a skill that feels almost counterintuitive in the age of AI. Deep work and hyper-focus mastery.
This is a skill that's becoming more and more valuable in our constantly connected world.
Yeah, it's almost like a superpower.
It is.
This ability to focus deeply amidst all the distractions.
It is, and it's something AI can't replicate.
Right.
We humans have the capacity for this kind of deep, focused work.
Okay.
And that's a huge advantage, but it requires effort and intentionality.
So how do we cultivate this superpower of deep work?
It starts with creating deep work rituals.
Okay.
Schedule blocks of uninterrupted time.
Right.
Maybe even dedicate a specific space for deep work and eliminate all distractions.
Turn off notifications. Put your phone on silent.
Exactly.
Maybe even put up a do not disturb sign.
Exactly. And then during those deep work sessions,
prioritize
high leverage tasks.
So the tasks that require your full brain power?
Yeah.
The kind of thinking that can't be automated?
Exactly. This is where you're really maximizing your unique human contribution.
And while we're at it, make sure you're training your hyper-focus muscle.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Mindfulness practices are great for this.
Okay.
Or even simple techniques like the Pomodoro method, where you work in focused bursts.
Okay.
It's about building that mental stamina for sustained attention.
Like training for a mental marathon.
Right. And here's a fascinating twist.
What's that?
You can actually leverage AI to help you focus.
Wait, that sounds counterintuitive. Isn't AI part of the distraction problem?
It can be.
Yeah.
But it can also be part of the solution.
Okay.
You can use AI productivity tools to automate repetitive tasks, manage your calendar, basically clear the clutter so you can focus on the deep work.
So fight fire with fire, use AI to tame the AI distractions.
Exactly.
Reclaim your focus.
It's all about using technology strategically to enhance your human capabilities.
Okay, let's talk about a topic that's essential for navigating any career path.
Okay.
Financial literacy and career resilience.
This one is all about building a solid foundation for your career.
Right.
And it goes beyond just knowing how to balance a checkbook.
Okay.
It's about understanding the financial realities of the AI-driven world.
Right.
And making smart decisions to protect your career and your future.
So being proactive rather than reactive.
Precisely. Financial literacy gives you the freedom and flexibility to navigate change effectively.
So what are the key actions we need to take to boost our financial literacy?
First and foremost, build your financial safety net.
Okay.
Have an emergency fund in place, enough to cover a few months of expenses.
Okay, so if there's a sudden job shift or you need to reskill, you have a cushion to land on.
Exactly. It gives you the breathing room to make strategic decisions, not reactive ones.
And invest in yourself strategically.
Think of your skills and knowledge as assets.
Okay.
Continuous learning is an investment that pays dividends in the long run.
Right.
Don't be afraid to spend money on courses, certifications, coaching. Those things can significantly boost your earning potential.
It's about prioritizing your own growth and development.
Absolutely. And consider diversifying your income stream.
Okay.
This is especially relevant in the age of AI.
Right.
Where job security might look different than it used to.
So explore freelance work, consulting, creating digital products.
Sure.
Having multiple income streams makes you much more resilient to disruption.
Exactly. And finally, make sure you understand AI's impact on the financial landscape.
So how is AI affecting salaries? Which jobs are in demand? Which ones are becoming obsolete?
Stay informed, do your research, and make strategic career decisions based on that knowledge.
Financial literacy empowers you to not just survive, but thrive in the AI-driven economy.
And that thriving requires us to take care of our most valuable asset, our health and well-being.
Okay.
That's where our final key area comes in: health, wellness, and sustainable productivity.
This one might seem obvious.
It might.
But it's easy to overlook when we're so caught up in the hustle of, future-proofing our careers.
But it's absolutely essential. You can't build a successful career if you're running on fumes.
Right.
The sources we've looked at emphasize that prioritizing your well-being is not selfish. It's essential for peak performance.
So how can we prioritize health and well-being while also striving for productivity in this fast-paced world?
It is a balancing act, but it starts with making holistic wellness a non-negotiable part of your life.
So that means taking care of your physical health?
Yes.
Exercise, sleep, nutrition, and your mental health?
Right. Mindfulness, stress management, self-care.
Yeah.
All of those things contribute to your overall well-being and ultimately your productivity.
And speaking of productivity, make sure you're balancing productivity with rest.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I always need to hear that.
AI can help us be more efficient, but it shouldn't lead to burnout.
Right.
Set boundaries, schedule downtime.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting enough rest.
Our brains need time to recharge and process information.
They do. And speaking of brains, cultivating mindfulness can be a game changer.
So mindfulness meditation, whatever works for you to kind of train your attention and be more present in the moment.
Studies show that mindfulness boosts focus, improves decision-making, reduces stress.
Really?
These are all essential skills for navigating the AI-driven world.
It's like a mental superpower.
It is. And speaking of superpowers, I love the idea of using AI to enhance our well-being.
Right. There are so many apps and devices out there.
There are.
To help you track your fitness, your sleep, nutrition, even your mood.
Use those tools strategically to enhance your well-being and, in turn, your overall productivity and career success.
So it's about harnessing the power of technology for good.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's inspiring to hear how Yusuf took those 10 points and turned them into action.
Yeah, he didn't just write about this stuff. He actually lived it.
Yeah, he faced layoffs, reinvented his career multiple times, and came out stronger each time.
He did. He's proof that you can adapt and thrive even when the ground beneath you is shifting.
That's what I love about this whole approach. It's not just about surviving the future. It's about owning it, shaping it. And one of the areas he really emphasizes, which might seem a bit counterintuitive at first, is the importance of health, wellness, and sustainable productivity.
It might seem like a side note.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely essential.
Right.
You can have all the skills and knowledge in the world.
Yeah.
But if you're burned out and exhausted, it's not going to do you much good.
It's like trying to run a marathon on an empty tank.
Exactly. And the research backs this up. Prioritizing your well-being isn't just about feeling good. It's about performing at your best, both mentally and physically. It's about building a sustainable career for the long haul.
So how do we actually integrate this into our already busy lives?
Right.
Where do we start?
It starts with prioritizing holistic wellness.
Okay.
That means taking care of both your physical and mental health.
Okay, so that means exercise, sleep, nutrition.
Yes.
Mindfulness, stress management.
Right. It's about finding a balance that works for you.
Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to well-being.
Exactly.
Right? What works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly. Some people thrive on high-intensity workouts. Others prefer yoga or meditation. The key is to find activities that you enjoy and that help you feel your best, both mentally and physically.
And we can't forget about rest and recovery. That's something I struggle with personally. It always feels like there's more to do, more to achieve.
I hear you, but our bodies and minds need time to recharge.
Right.
We're not machines. Setting boundaries, scheduling downtime, and giving yourself permission to unplug. Those are all crucial for sustainable productivity.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
And here's something I find really fascinating. We can actually use AI to help us optimize our health.
There are so many incredible apps and devices out there that use AI to track your fitness, sleep, nutrition, even your mood.
So you can use these tools to gather data.
Yes.
Identify patterns and make adjustments to your lifestyle based on what you learn.
It's like having a personal health coach right in your pocket.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listener with?
That future-proofing your career is a multifaceted journey.
Okay.
It's about acquiring tomorrow's skills today, cultivating your uniquely human strengths, embracing adaptability and innovation, and prioritizing your well-being. It's about taking those 10 key areas we discussed and turning them into action.
Just like Yusuf did.
Exactly. He didn't just write the game plan, he lived it, and he thrived because of it.
So to our listener out there, what one action will you take this week to start future-proofing your career? Remember, even small steps taken consistently can lead to massive results. Now go out there and own the future.